Good morning, guys. We're going to read another historical fiction text today. Remember that in historical fiction, the plot and characters are made up, but the setting is based on a real time period in history. Our story today is Flowers for Sarajevo by John McCutcheon, and it takes place during the Bosnian War, which was from 1992 to 1995. Bosnia and Herzegovina is a small country in Europe surrounded by Croatia, Serbia, and Montenegro. While the Holocaust was a war about race, the Vietnam War was about politics, the Bosnian War was about religion and ethnicity. So it was the Orthodox Christian Bosnian Serbs that were trying to fight and destroy the Bosniak Muslims and the Bosnian Catholic Croats. That just means someone from Croatia. So the Serbs tried to take over in what's called the Siege of Sarajevo, and it was very deadly. Let's read a small part of this author's note from the book. On the morning of May 27, 1992, at the height of the Balkan War, a mortar attack targeted one of the last working bakeries in the Bosnian city of Sarajevo. 22 people waiting in a bread line were killed. It was yet one more act of senseless ethnic violence in a war rife with sorrow heaped on sorrow. The following morning, at the precise hour of the attack, a door opened across the square from the bakery. A cellist in the Sarajevo Opera Orchestra, Vedran Smilovic, stepped outside and into history. He was to become the man the world would call the cellist of Sarajevo. Thus began the events that inspired this book. For 22 consecutive days, Smilovic played a single tune, Albinoni's Adagio in G minor. His music was a eulogy, a prayer, but it was something more. It was a powerful voice of defiance and hope. After one of these performances, a soldier asked him, "Why are you playing where there is bombing?" His response was a bewildered, "Why are you bombing where I am playing?" In writing this book, I decided to focus not on Vedran, but on the effect his actions had on others. Heroism has many facets. Not everyone will brave the bullets of a war-torn street, but we are each capable of finding that beauty, that kindness within ourselves that violence and hatred seek to destroy. In a world in which fear has become the dominant weapon of the weak, it is precisely this kind of defiance that will deny victory to the forces of evil. A quote from Leonard Bernstein hangs over my desk. He wrote these words in 1963 in response to the death of President John F. Kennedy. They were equally relevant that first spring day in 1992 when Smilovic strode through the wreckage to play his Adagio, and they continue to be so today. This will be our reply to violence, to make music more intensely, more beautifully, more devotedly than ever before. And here's a picture of Vedran Smilovic playing in Sarajevo. So here we go. Flowers for Sarajevo by John McCutcheon. See that man in the floppy hat? That's Milo. He's my father. He can sniff out the best roses in all of Sarajevo. Many kinds of people come together here in our marketplace, looking for spices, meats, and bread. Sometimes they buy, sometimes they don't, but almost everyone leaves with flowers. Milo's flowers. I'm Drasko. I am his son. The Serb and the Croat, the Muslim and the Christian, we have plenty to argue about, my father says. But like these flowers, we manage to live side by side. Even old Goran there. He nods toward the cranky spice merchant in the next stall. I give my father a doubtful look. Believe it, Drasko, underneath that thorny hide there beats a beautiful heart. My father slips one of his prized roses into Goran's apron. The old man snorts. I understand giving flowers to little Gertie or poor Mrs. Novak, but to the meanest man in the market, my father is a mystery to me. So why does he give a flower to Goran, and what does that reveal about the father? Many things are a mystery to me. I wonder how so much can change so quickly. Overnight, it seems, we are at war. My country is tearing apart. Every day, men are leaving for the battlefield, even my father. Now it's my job to keep the flowers fresh and our family fed. But I'm only a boy. The merchants who were our friends are tired and bad-tempered. They have pushed me to the worst corner of the square. No shade, no water for the flowers. Now I'm even too far from the bakery to enjoy the smell of fresh bread. Where once they had kind words and treats for me, now it's, "Move on, Drasko, not here, Drasko, out of my way, Drasko." Still, there is one good thing about this spot. Behind my stall stands the building where the orchestra practices. Thanks to the window they leave open to the warm May breezes, I hear every note. I have the best seat in the square. This morning, the orchestra plays music I remember from when I was small. Every evening, my father would put a record on his old phonograph. Some nights, he would dance me around the house, laughing. Today, I close my eyes and let the music carry me far away from this crowded, lonely place. The church bells ring and wake me from my memories. It's 10 o'clock. Over the bells, over the music, comes a whistling sound, like fireworks shooting into the sky. Then an explosion. In an instant, everything is madness. A mortar has hit the bakery where people were lined up for bread. I can hear the shouting, the cries. The door beside me flies open. Orchestra musicians burst from the rehearsal hall and race toward the bakery. I hear the wail of a siren. Everyone around me runs away. I run too. The next day, the square is strangely still. 22 people were killed. They were just waiting to buy bread. The church bells ring 10 o'clock again. I cringe, remembering that terrible moment. Then the door to the rehearsal hall opens, but this time, only one man steps out. I've seen him before, this man with his extraordinary mustache. Today he is dressed in a tuxedo, as if he is going to a concert. In one hand he carries a chair, and in the other a cello. He steps carefully through the rubble and stops near the crater in front of the bakery. He sits and places his bow to the strings. The people who have gathered look on in silence. He plays the most beautiful and heartbreaking music anyone could ever imagine. All of us, Serb and Croat, Muslim and Christian, stand side by side, listening to a language we all understand. The music stops. No one applauds. No one moves. Without a word, the cellist picks up his chair and disappears into the rehearsal hall. I return to my stall, where an old woman has stopped to buy roses. Please take them, I say. Today they are free. But I know that there are not enough flowers in all of Sarajevo to fill the hole that mortar left in our hearts. So this cellist could have played anywhere. Why do you think he chose to play in that crater? And why does the cellist play? And why does Drasko give out these free flowers? What are they trying to do? The following day, at exactly 10 o'clock, the cellist plays again. The day after that is the same, and the next. For 22 days he plays. One day for each person lost at the bakery. One day for each family without a loved one. Every night I say 22 prayers, and one more for my father. The war is not over, but people have come back to the square. The bakery has opened its doors, and again music floats down from the window above my flower stall. Still, every once in a while, something takes me by surprise. Just yesterday, old Goran brought a man to my stall to buy lilies. He has his father's nose for flowers, this one, Goran says, almost smiling. Almost. I slip my best rose beneath his apron strings. Just like your father, he huffs, giving away what you should sell. At the end of the day, I clean up my stall. I gather the flowers I have left and make my rounds of the square. I leave a few in front of the bakery and some at the orchestra's door. I take one home to set beside my father's place at our table as I wait for his return. And tomorrow, like my father, like the cellist, I'll do my own small part to make Sarajevo beautiful once again. So I want you to think, what do the flowers and the music represent, and what can we learn from this story?